welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Ron. Thanks for stopping by. Always great to have you. Today I want to talk about FPV and building dives, something I've just started touching on. So what I'm going to do is kind of walk you through the process that I went through to get to the point where I was finally comfortable to attempt it. And I'm going to go through a bunch of clips that I've taken over the past couple days and kind of walk you through the progression that led up to where I actually attempted this. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so the first thing I actually did was get into a flight simulator. So this is one of the FPV flight sims called Liftoff. Liftoff's the only one that I'm familiar with. It's the only one that I've used to date, so it's the one I'm going to recommend to you, but there's plenty of other ones out there. So once I was in the Liftoff software, there's a bunch of different programs you can go through, different flight sims, and the one that I ended up picking was the one called Bando City. So Bando City's got a bunch of buildings that you can basically practice your building dives in. Obviously, doing it this way is going to prevent you a lot of headache with your crashes and having to worry about your own hardware, FPVs, getting damaged. So definitely, if you haven't practiced this in a flight sim, go into a flight sim first. Like I said, I'm going to walk you through what I did, and hopefully it works for you as well as it worked for me. So that was step one. Okay, and before I get too far ahead of myself, I also went to the park, find a wide open area, and started practicing with just trees. Nothing else around, wide open area. And I'll show you some clips here. I'm just going through these trees, getting a feel for my quads. I actually took two different quads out. One was a 4-inch, one was a 5-inch, and just having a good time, getting comfortable with the quad, making sure everything was working the way it was supposed to. No hiccups, no interference, no issues with the quad. Everything's flying smoothly. So find an open area, practice on trees before you practice on buildings. Found some good videos out there on building dives from some other folks as well. And doing a split S is key. One of the things I'm doing it here, and I did a previous video on this. I'll put a link up above. You want to be able to do a split S, which is basically doing a half of a roll, and then you're going to adjust your pitch accordingly and your throttle accordingly, moving in closer, further away from a building as you get to that. So in this clip here, I actually went through, a lot of batteries at different locations. This is one location, and I'll show you a clip from another location I went to where I was just practicing with trees, just diving trees, wide open area. And that would be what I would call step number 2. Okay, and then I come to another location, another different view, different perspective. I want to show you the sticks a little bit. Wide open area, lots of trees here. I'm dive bombing these trees again, doing basically a split S, half a roll, and then managing my pitch and my throttle control. Just getting a real good feel for the quad, how it's going to perform, and it makes a huge difference. This is the goggle view. I don't have a GoPro on here. Again, I'm going to jump around a little bit. I don't have the GoPro on here, which makes it a lot heavier. This one is the 4-inch quad, the smaller one, my iFlight Chimera 4. Flies really nice, great for long range, and just and really have a good time with this. Now, I did not want to throw the GoPro on here until I was comfortable with what I was doing. Obviously, I don't want to lose my quad and a GoPro all in one flight. So practice first without any other cameras mounted on there aside from the one that's obviously built into the quad itself. But I wasn't going to mount a GoPro on here yet. So once I spent a lot of time just practicing these split S moves, managing trying to manage throttle control and getting a good feel for how the quad was going to respond. Then let me play a little more of this video for you, and then we'll jump over to a couple of buildings that I went to. Okay, you guys are 5 minutes in. Thanks for hanging out with me. Now we're going to get to the good stuff. Don't go nowhere. So this is going to be the stuff that you've been waiting for. So next clip I'm showing you here, let me start this up, is actually the first building that I went to. Now this is an abandoned building, so don't leave any comments below. Nobody's in this building. It's actually being renovated. I haven't seen anybody in this building in quite some time. Wide open parking lot, nobody coming and going. Perfect location. The only problem with this spot was there was a big perimeter fence in close to the building. You can see it in the shot. And I didn't want to have to climb over the fence if my quad went down, obviously behind the fence line. So not exactly an ideal situation. It's been a while since I've had to climb any fences. So I made a couple runs here just to test it out. I was a little concerned, looked like there was maybe some towers or booster signal cells on top of the building, something there. I thought maybe that might cause a little interference, but I didn't have any issue with that. And my goal here isn't to you know, get 2 inches off the glass, or, you know, like Mr. Steele does, or some of these other guys. My goal really is just when an opportunity comes down the road for me to get some great dive type footage, like a waterfall, or I'm traveling somewhere, I just want to be capable and skilled enough to know that I can get in there and get that shot. And right now, I'll be honest with you, after a lot of the practice I did with the trees and some of the building dives that I've been doing, I feel comfortable enough. Like I said, I don't need to get right up on that glass or right up on the building. I just want to get in there close enough to get a good shot of the type of scenery that I hope that I'll be shooting at some point down the road. And that's probably the goal of a lot of you guys too. Unless it's a bando type building or something, excuse me. I just want to get in there, have some fun. So I shot this building location first, just having some fun. And like I said, I got a little nervous with the fence around there. I didn't want to have to go over the fence if my quad went down behind that fence line. So made a bunch of runs, and I'll jump around through this clip and get an idea. But there were some obstacles down toward the bottom. You can see there's some trees and things toward the bottom of that, and so you did have to pull it out. And it wasn't the tallest building either, so you're limited with your fall. And from everything I've seen and heard from other folks, it's FPV pilots, you know, reduce that throttle as you're coming up on that. You're kind of, the momentum of your quad's going to go into the building, do your, you know, split S, your half a roll, and let the momentum carry you through, and then just let the quad drop. So that's kind of what I'm working on still. I don't have that total drop yet. You know, I don't want to get in super close. I just want to have a good time and be able to get the shots I want at some point down the road. So I was having a good time. But I'll go to the next location. The next location is actually the, as far as I thought, more scenic. And let's get into that. And this is our final location. Before we jump too far into it, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that bell for future notifications as well. Leave a thumbs up and a comment below, because I'll probably forget later, so I wanted to mention it. This was taken at sunset. I actually deliberately waited until golden hour to go out and shoot this because I just thought it would look nice reflecting off the building. You can see the sunset there in the background off in the distance. And by the time that I got around to trying this location, again, it's a weekend, you can see nobody's there, it's an empty building, no one's in the parking lot. I just thought it would be a great location to shoot in the evening with the sun reflecting off of the front of the building. Again, I'm not trying to get in super close. Again, you can see the sun off in the distance there. At one point, I think an Amazon truck pulled into the parking lot. I thought maybe it was security or something, but it was just an Amazon delivery truck pulled in. Looked like he made a wrong turn and turned around and left. But you can see by the time that I got around to shooting this, I'm getting in closer. This is a much better location for this type of shot. It's easy access from the front. And like I said, there's the van. You can see it kind of pulling in next to me as I'm flying. I don't know what that guy was doing, but he didn't ask me anything. I don't even think he worked there, but I guess he was curious. Maybe he was going to ask me for directions or something. Anyway, yeah, just a beautiful sunset at this point, and I'm really feeling comfortable at this point after I spent all that time doing the trees, flying the trees at the different locations, and then finally working my way up here. You can see there's some trees at the bottom there. There's actually a flagpole there toward the bottom, so I'm being careful of that as well. And you always want to kind of feel out the location before you just jump in there. But again, the goal here was simply for me to get comfortable enough to do this kind of maneuver. You can see that shot there. If that was some kind of waterfall or drop off, I would have no problem at this point getting in there and getting the shot that I wanted. I didn't mount the GoPro on here yet, but again, that's going to make the quad much heavier. It's going to drop quicker. It's going to respond a little bit different, but I'm just getting the feel for, you know, being inverted and just kind of pushing away from the building as I need to. You can see the flagpole there. So that's really what this video is. I hope it gave you some insight into maybe how to do your own, you know, building dives and building yourself up, working your way up to this kind of maneuver. You know, just be safe when you're doing it. Find an open location where there's no one around, and have a good time. And that's really all this video was. I hope you guys got some value out of it. Again, leave some comments below. I'd love to hear from you. I'm still learning. I'm sure you guys are as well. This is an ongoing journey for me, and I'm just having a good time. So I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.
Nothing can keep me from you.